Pastor Brian, and this is Megan, and we are excited to come into this segment where we get to go a little deeper on our discussion out of that sermon, and so thank you for joining us. Ernie mentioned over the next 5 weeks, we're going to be covering some great ground. Can't wait for it to happen. 5 different things: intimacy with Jesus, cultural discernment, meaningful relationships, counter-cultural mission, and vocational discipline.
Vocational?
Yes.
Oh, that sounds great.
Sweet.
I am all about vocational discipline.
Yeah. Discipleship. Hey, if
Vocational
you guys
discipleship.
need discipled on vacations, I'm pretty sure Megan is your
Yep,
person.
I will sign up.
Yeah, it's just
And everybody can sign up for a timeshare after service.
I'm pretty
today.
sure, yeah, right.
So,
The presentation
Vocational
takes a few
discipleship.
hours,
Yeah.
but we'll get through it together. That's so funny. But anyhow, those topics, and I like how you laid it out, because it's not like you can't get through those 5 things in one week.
Oh, no way. Yeah.
And so it's pretty cool. Excited for that. But when we dig into today's questions, I think the first thing that I wanted to hit you guys up with is, how do we become, when we talk about questions, the people that ask questions and the people that get questions asked of them. Brian, I'll just throw it to you first, but how do you become a person that asks a lot of questions, and why is that important?
Yeah, I think just like our faith goal should always be like seeking truth and trying to figure it out. And sometimes like we have our own like past stuff that we have been with that have kind of shaped us into how we think and stuff like that, which isn't always the truth. So I think finding people who, like with their kids or their faith or their job, that like kind of have like, oh, I want what they've got. Like I want to get to where they're at. And then having the humility to be like, oh, like just ask the questions and stuff like that. And I think being at a place where you're always willing to learn and seeking after truth and everything like that, I think is a good place to be.
Well, one of the things I love about the influence that God's given me in my life is when, not so much with my own kids, because that's a little more difficult, them asking me questions. Although when they get older, it does get a lot better. So if you have teens right now, get through it, because they'll come back and ask you a lot of questions if you handle it right. But I just love it. I don't know, Megan, I'll hit you up because you're in a lot of areas of influence too, but I love it when people ask me questions. And I want to be the kind of person that asks a lot of questions. And so how have you positioned yourself to be a person in your vacations and things like that, in your vocation, that is to be a person of wisdom, a person that gets a lot of questions asked, and what do you think about that?
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
It's intimidating, because often when they're asking me a question, I don't know about you, but when they're asking me a question, in my head I'm thinking, oh crap, Jesus, I have no idea how to answer this. Like, Jesus, I need you to answer this, because I'm not, these words can't be mine, because I don't know what to say in this instance or in this situation. And I think a lot of times it's just caring. It's just genuinely, truly caring about, regardless of their age and where you fall in that spectrum, but just caring about their life, intentionally caring.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think and I think also the other thing is it is intimidating. It's actually an honor, and when you come with a lot of humility into that, not a lot of pride, you understand that you think, wow, I have that same question, and here's how I'm processing it. Not that I have all the answers, but man, can we talk about this? And so maybe that's an encouragement to one of you who are out there listening right now or watching, and you're saying, wow, I don't know if I'm ready for that. And I would just encourage you that take your experience, take what you've learned in Scripture, and just be the kind of person that's available genuinely to people, and let God work through you to just answer questions or be there for people. It's so important. And I think that's the secret, I guess you'd say, is being available, being genuine, having a relationship with somebody, having a relationship with Jesus, so that you have the ability to have some of those questions answered. Well, Ernie said this really cool line that I wrote down: the story you live out is the story you give out. So I'm going to go ahead and hit you guys with what's your number one secret to living out a great story. I mean, Brian, you're only 20, but
Not
20.
true.
Yeah.
Not true. No, almost double that. It'll be double that next week.
Oh,
So,
okay,
yeah.
cool. Next week.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I think just to be able to live it out, and so it's really just like loving people and loving God. Like we try to make our faith and everything so complicated, but to be able, it's really like love God, love people. And I think if people like genuinely see like, hey, this guy really cares about me and really loves me, or this guy doesn't have all the answers, but he's willing to hear me out.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes I found that way with people when they ask questions and stuff, like we think it one way, and then when we say it out loud, like, oh, that's not really what I,
Yeah.
So when they can just allow them just to be just to talk to you and ask you questions and just be able to hear them out. Somebody out like that, I think, is important.
I like that. What about for you, Megan?
I think intentionality is
that's a good one.
like a word, making it's intentional. Everything is intentional. Like it's when you're raising your kids, you don't just feed them and give them clothes and a place to sleep and just hope it works out for the best. That's not how you raise kids. It's intentional.
Man, I got to rethink some things. No, I'm just kidding.
It's intentional conversations, and it's being available for those intentional, and it's intentional words, and it's intentional things, it's intentional dates, and special things that you do and pour into your kids, and it's the same in our relationship. So I'm still living life. So when I die, if this works, this was the secret,
there's the number one.
Being intentional in what you say and seeking people out and trying to speak into their lives where they're at intentionally, making it about them.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. Well, just to wrap this up, Ernie said towards the end, worship plus discipleship equals a changed world. And we're not going to have time to get into this question, but I got to ask you guys, and I got to ask myself all the time, is the world that I'm living in changing for the better? I mean, and what's my attitude towards that? Because I think that sometimes we just can have a bad attitude, like, the world's just this terrible place.
Curse in the darkness.
Yeah, and it sucks, and woe is me. But we have the opportunity to change the world around us, and so that's going to be our encouragement to leave you with throughout this week is change your world, take all of these things and pray, and just be genuine and transparent to people. And I think you'll find that goes a lot farther than you ever thought it could. And so we look forward to this sermon series. Thanks for joining us. If you're new here, don't forget to get connected, tcaz.us/connect. And you can do that. Also, thank you for partnering with us financially and your generosity. If you want to do that, just go to our website or our app and you can find a bunch of ways that you can give. We want to thank you guys for your generosity. That's going to be it for us. High fives to these guys. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.